They laughed at the old janitor until she carried 5 kids through the smoke alone. Lincoln Elementary sat quietly on the edge of a small Nebraska town, the kind of red brick school no one ever notices. Inside, faded murals lined the halls. Squeaky lockers held half-finished homework, and the morning announcements never mentioned the old woman who scrubbed those hallways spotless long after the final bell. Her name was Margaret Hale. Everyone called her Miss Maggie. She wore the same gray work uniform every day, hair pinned up in a neat silver bun. Her cart rattled over chipped linoleum floors, mops, rags, a battered metal bucket. Some kids whispered that she smelled like old books and bleach. Some laughed behind her back. Miss Maggie never seemed to mind. She just nodded when kids bumped into her, stooped down to pick up dropped crayons, and kept pushing her cart down the hall. Most teachers barely noticed her. She was part of the walls, always there, always silent. Except for one kid, Liam Carter, 8 years old, big curious eyes, sneakers too big for his feet. Every morning he'd wave at Miss Maggie near the cafeteria door. She'd nod back, a tiny secret smile hidden under tired eyes. One morning, Liam spotted her storage closet cracked open. He peeked inside, just mops, bleach bottles, old brooms, and something odd, a worn canvas duffel bag tucked in the back, stamped with a faded Navy rescue insignia. Before he could ask, the door creaked shut. In early April, Principal Warner decided it was time for another fire drill. The teachers rolled their eyes. The kids cheered. Any excuse to get outside, yell, and giggle in the spring air. The alarm buzzed at 11:04 a.m. Classrooms emptied, students shuffled out in messy lines, teachers barked half-hearted commands. Miss Maggie leaned her cart against the wall near the cafeteria. She watched the flood of students pour past. Liam caught her eye and flashed a goofy wave. She winked back. Then, behind the cafeteria doors, an old electrical panel sparked. Somewhere deep in the dusty wall, a cable hissed, caught, burned. This wasn't part of the drill. As the last line of kids cleared the hallway, Liam felt someone tug his sleeve. Ellie, first grade, tiny glasses, tearful eyes. "Liam, where's my teacher?" He turned back. 2 more kids were behind her, lost. And before Liam could answer, a warm draft of black smoke rolled under the cafeteria door. Outside, teachers ticked off their roll calls. Nobody noticed Liam, Ellie, and 2 others frozen by the cafeteria exit. Inside, smoke thickened. Sparks popped behind the food line. Liam's chest tightened. He pulled Ellie's hand. "We gotta go." But the hallway was already gray and pulsing with heat. Far down the hallway, a squeak. Old hinges, a bucket tipping over. Miss Maggie stepped into the haze, her eyes locked on the kids. She didn't shout. She didn't flinch. She reached into her cart and pulled out the same canvas bag Liam had glimpsed once before. She slipped an old mask over her mouth. Cracked rubber, faded straps, Navy Rescue standard issue, 20 years old. Still good enough. Maggie crouched beside Liam. "Stay close, kiddo," she rasped through the mask. Ellie started to cry. Maggie scooped her up, one arm tight around the tiny girl's back. She gripped Liam's hand. The 2 other kids pressed in behind, clinging to her work coat. Heat shimmered on the walls. Maggie turned toward the side door. Locked. She didn't hesitate. She angled her shoulder and slammed into it. Old hinges groaned. Again. Again. The latch snapped. Cool air licked her face as the door crashed open. Fresh daylight. Shouts outside. Teachers turned. Principal Warner dropped his clipboard when he saw the shape stumble out of the smoke. Miss Maggie, carrying Ellie, Liam at her side, 2 others clinging to her coat. Paramedics rushed in. Someone grabbed a fire extinguisher. A teacher covered Ellie in a blanket. Maggie just stood there, steadying herself on the brick wall. Her mask dangled loose around her neck. Liam's mother arrived, frantic. She hugged her son tight, eyes wide when she saw Maggie's badge. Margaret Hale, custodial staff. Below it, the corner of that old Navy patch peeked out. Later, at the fire marshal's briefing, they pieced it together. Faulty wiring, old panel, dumb luck that it happened during a drill. No one had asked how the janitor had known exactly how to break through a jammed fire exit, or how she'd moved like she'd done it before, because she had. Decades ago, Margaret Hale was Petty Officer 2nd Class Hale, Navy Rescue Unit. a dozen rescue citations, a life she never talked about, because that wasn't the point. The next week, Miss Maggie sat on a bench behind the school, warm sun on her face. Liam found her there, carrying a juice box and 2 cookies. He sat next to her, swinging his legs. "You saved me," he said, voice soft. Maggie smiled. "I just did my job, sweetheart." He thought about that. He looked at the patch peeking out under her coat. "When I grow up," he said, "I want to be like you." She laughed, low and gentle. "Then you'll be just fine, Liam. Some heroes talk about it. Some hang medals on walls, and some sweep the halls until the day the fire comes and the whole world sees what they really are."